Hey everybody, welcome to my channel Watch Lookout, where I'm always on the lookout for the next watch in my collection, and today is no exception. I've got a FedEx package here, and that can only mean one thing, which is that there must be a watch inside. But actually, very seldom do I use FedEx, only when the company themselves only allow you to use FedEx. But this one came here, I would say, pretty fast, all things considered. I ordered it on the 29th of October, and today is the 6th of November. So that is pretty fast, all things considered. This package was opened, though, by customs. And indeed very open, I can see here. That's a first. Usually they make some effort to reseal the package, but today they didn't give a damn, did they? So that makes my job a little bit easier. A quick wristwatch check reveals that I'm wearing the newest watch in my collection, not including this one, and it is the Feel Never USA D5, model USA D5, and this is an incredible watch. Really heavy, something past 200 grams in weight. Blue dial, which you can sort of see there. Really amazing, and this entire bezel is made of ceramic. It's not a ceramic insert. It is a completely ceramic bezel. That's incredible. Very big, very heavy, 47.5 millimeter case, 20 millimeter thickness, 22 millimeter lug width. Really, but a very, very nice watch. I've had it on every day, and I'm really happy with it. And today, I have my second order from WatchDives. I say my second order from WatchDives because I did order a watch one time from WatchDives and I never got it. It was the Tactical Frog FX Diver in titanium, a watch that I purchased, which the FedEx people in Istanbul did not let me take possession of because it was priced just above the import limit here in Turkey. And sadly, despite all the efforts that I made and all the efforts that WatchDives made to convince the FedEx people that it was under $150, FedEx didn't buy it. And they weren't even the customs officials, and they didn't let me have the watch. I even hired a lawyer to get the watch, and I still didn't get the watch. And so because I didn't want to send it back and pay to send it back and get less of a refund, I just took the loss and let them destroy the watch. But it always pissed me off because I always wanted that watch. So today, this is my second order from WatchDives. And we got our user manual here. We've got an international guarantee, which is a warranty. It does have a quality assurance stamp on the back, so apparently there's some quality control going on. Now this watch is supposed to have a 3-year warranty. And what is it? It is the WatchDives WD1969. This is a watch that bears a resemblance to the Tactical Frog, which I was unable to get because the Tactical Frog had that Pelagos, or Pelagos, if you will, indice style with the squares and rectangles. And this also has a snowflake hour hand. So this is also a blue dial. So I've got a couple of watches that stray into the blue realm. This Feel Never is one of them. Now this one, and I did buy a Bowderry in titanium, a Bowderry Urban. Right after I couldn't get that Tactical Frog, I bought the Bowderry Urban in blue. Sort of to cancel or to make up for the fact that I couldn't take the Tactical Frog. But you know, the Bowderry Urban is a skeleton dial, and so it's not really a blue dial. It's black where it is a dial and the rest of it is skeleton, so you can see through it. Now, this watch was only 99 bucks. I wasn't really thinking about buying one of these, but then I saw this price point, and I also thought, well, I don't have a WatchDives, like a watch from the actual vendor in my collection. Let me go ahead and do something like that. I do have a steel dive. I've contemplated buying an indices dive, and so now I have a WatchDive. And I checked out a couple reviews and heard people make sort of the same commentary, and I thought, well, okay, I'll get it. This is completely shrouded in plastic, so I'm going to attempt to get this off. What we have here is basically everything that we love about a Pelagos and a Submariner, but just not the price. And of course, there's argument to be made about the materials or the finishing or the movement inside, but that's all relative. I figure these watches, though very inexpensive now, there may come a time, years down the road, in which people desire these watches from the solid days of the various different Asian brands that began making watches in the early 21st century. And these watches may appreciate in value just by virtue of either their scarcity or because the brands have since grown and become more popular and more desirable and pricier. And these watches will be seen as something quite desirable in the exact same way that a $200 Rolex from 50 years ago cannot be purchased for less than 30 or 40,000 bucks. And in some cases, if it's a Cosmograph, it could be well over $100,000 for what was essentially a $225 watch in the early 1970s. So some of these watches I purchase for whimsy, and some of these watches I purchase because I think there is the remote possibility that they'll be worth more than you would ever imagine given what you paid for them. I don't think this watch is going to be one of those. So this watch is a little more of a whimsical purchase. But nonetheless, sorry guys, trying to show the watch, but can't show the watch when it's buried in plastic, and they are not kidding here. So one of the criticisms that I saw, that I heard recurring in different reviews of this watch was the quality of the bracelet, and I can vouch for that. The bracelet is quite lightweight. This plastic on it sort of fools you into thinking that it is a higher quality, but it's actually just the quality of the plastic that's fooling you into that assumption. Once you get the plastic off, you realize that it's sort of replica quality bracelet because it's not very heavy. It is a 316 stainless steel watch, bracelet, case back, etc. But somehow, despite the dimensions, somehow these companies are able to make the watch bracelets quite lightweight and sort of thin and whiffy. There we go. Let's get a good look at it. So as I said, this is the WatchDives WD1969. It does feature a faux patina. The lume is a faux patina. It is a C3 Luminova. And on various different photographs online of this watch, the bezel indices, it looks like this is an updated version because on quite a lot of photographs, the indices are gray and faded. It almost looks like an aluminum bezel insert in where the indices have begun to fade. And this is not that. This is sort of a bright white color. Now it is a ceramic bezel insert that is matte finish, so that's kind of cool. I don't have a matte finish bezel in my collection, and now I do. And that's sort of consistent with what that Tactical Frog would have been. But this bezel also is different from other iterations of this exact same watch because there are minute hash marks all the way around the bezel on the different photographs that I've seen, and I thought that's what I was getting was that bezel, but that is not the case. I appear to have a slightly different version. Now, this watch features 300 meters of water resistance, not the standard 200, but 300 meters of water resistance. Well, let's go through it together. It does feature an NH35 Seiko Instruments movement, which features 41 hours of power reserve, and it beats at 21,600 per hour. It is 316 stainless steel case back, and bracelet. The bezel is 120 click, unidirectional. Started off a little bit stiff, a little bit quiet, but it is that is a weak spot in this watch, and at the price point, I guess that's to be expected. It does work. It's quite stiff. There is no back play or really any lateral movement. Just checking the alignment now. It seems that I might have gone over the limit. Yeah, but the bezel is not great. It's a little bit hard to grasp onto despite the edging. But it's kind of a demure bezel. It doesn't stick up above the case all that much, so I found it a little bit hard to get a hold of. The alignment looks pretty good, though, if I've got that aligned correctly. It's a nice sort of matte finish blue on the dial, which I like. Matches the bezel fairly well. It's the reason I wore the blue shirt today. We've got sort of a 3-link oyster-style bracelet. The upper clasp is stamped with 6 micro adjusts there, and the lower or underside of the clasp is milled, which makes people happy. It does have a sterile case back, a la the Golden Crowns watches and their sibling, I would say. Let me just remove the plastic here. It does feature as I said, a C3 green luminous paint, which is painted onto the dial. Those are not applied indices. There is a domed sapphire crystal, which does have AR coating underneath, as they have indicated. Screw down crown. And our case dimensions, it's a 41 millimeter case diameter. It's 48 millimeters lug to lug. These are male end links, but it does fold down fairly nicely. It is 13 millimeter case height, case thickness, and 20 millimeters lug width. The warranty is supposed to be 3 years on this, not just 2 years, so 3 years is quite nice. Let's put it on the wrist and see what it's all about. Yeah, the bracelet is the weak spot of this. That's what other people have said, and I concur. That is the weak spot. It is quite a whiffy little bracelet. However, I think those complaints sort of cancel themselves out when you actually adjust the bracelet to fit your wrist appropriately, because it's not particularly top heavy, so I don't imagine that the bracelet is going to fail to do its job once it is adjusted fairly well. It looks nice on the wrist. I can't complain. That AR coating looks like it's doing a pretty good job because we can see everything nicely. And let's do a Lume Shot. It's supposed to be a very nice application of Lume. It does have a Lume pip. This is in 2 colors, by the way. There's a black dial variant with a black bezel, and there is this blue dial variant. Now, interesting, the photography of the black dial the Lume pip looked ginormous, and I don't know what that was all about compared to the blue pip. In fact, on the company's website itself, on WatchDives' website itself, I wasn't even certain whether or not the Lume pip was raised on the blue bezel. And actually, the version I have here, it is not really raised. There is a little texture there, but it is, again, it's not like the photography that I've seen on the interwebs and that I've seen other guys reviewing. So this appears to be a slightly different version than what I have seen. All right, so that is not bad, I guess, all things considered. It looks really good to me, but of course, it's hard to translate that when I'm putting it in front of a camera with a monitor that is reflecting a bunch of whiteness there. But it is, I would say, very nice Lume. It is comparable to the Lume of my Carry-On, which is the watch I bought before that Feel Never that I just had on. A very nice, bright green Superlova. I would say that it's not Super Luminova, it's just regular Luminova. It is superior to the Lume on the 3 Unimatics that I own, which are considerably more expensive, so that there's really no excuse for that on Unimatics' part. But anyway, yeah, guys, thanks for coming out and riding with me. I will say that a couple days after I bought this, on the 29th of October, I did buy my Grail watch. I got an email in my inbox from the company that said that they had just restocked the watch that I've wanted for 2 years. This is a watch that I have been champing at the bit to get, but I couldn't because the first time I tried to buy it, I think that they didn't deliver to Turkey, or perhaps it was sold out. Not really clear to me. And the second time I attempted to buy it, they imposed the import ban here in Turkey, and this watch is more expensive than the limit, so I couldn't buy it. And I remember attempting to assuage my disappointment by buying another watch from that company that was under the price point, and I couldn't get that one either, again, because they don't deliver to Turkey. So what I have done is I had this watch delivered to my friend who lives in the UK, and when they come to visit, they're going to bring the watch with me. So I'm not going to get my hands on that watch for probably another couple months, frankly. And so I'm just going to have to be as patient as I possibly can. And hopefully I don't accumulate too many more watches in that time. All right, guys, thanks for coming out. Please like, share, and subscribe. I always enjoy doing unboxing videos, but I know that the time has come for me to begin doing some review videos of all the watches I've collected and show you guys how they've held up over time, because I'm getting a lot of comments asking that question about such and such watch. How has it held up? They've all held up really remarkably well, and I have to say I'm quite impressed and very satisfied. You know, I look at my collection and it excites me, and I think that's a good thing when you've had a watch for a couple years or so and it still excites you when it puts you on, when you put it on, or when you compare it to other watches in your collection. I guess these are push pins, by the way, so I'm going to get this adjusted as quick as I can. All right, cheers, everyone.